Hello and welcome to my next video on basically fixing any vacuum cleaner that's not sucking up as well as it should. So this is as long as the motor's working, so there's no electrical problem, and it's basically going round troubleshooting the different things that can happen on the suction side of vacuum cleaners. So as you can see, I've got a small cylinder vac, a bit more complicated upright Dyson, and then just a generic wet and dry vacuum cleaner. But the principles apply to basically any vacuum cleaner, and yeah, troubleshooting, starting at one end, going through to the other, trying to work out what's wrong. So first of all, I'll just start off with the generic wet and dry vacuum cleaner here. So most vacuum cleaners, you can disconnect the hose at one end and basically just try and blow through. If it feels any constriction whatsoever, then it's probably a blockage along the hose. Also go along the hose and check there's no holes or cracks, because even though the vacuum cleaner is working at this end, let's say, if there's a couple of cracks, it's not going to pick up as well as it should. If it has any tools, take the tools off, have a look through there. Again, try and blow through, make sure everything feels clear. Have a look through the opening, the vacuum side. Also, on this one, you can plug the hose in there and make it into a blower. Double check, plug it in, make sure you've got it plugged in the right side and it is sucking and not blowing. I have seen people plug it in the wrong side, so yeah, make sure you've not done that. So if you plug it in now and put your hand over there, it should show you a really good suction. Put your hand over the other end, make sure it's blowing well as well. And if it's still not working, if you're still not getting any suction from there, take the motor off. Have a look inside. Obviously this one's nearly empty. The connection there where the hose connects to is very clear. The filter on the other hand looks very blocked. So I would say on this one needs either a new filter, or if it's a washable filter, try washing it. As a quick example, excuse me 1 minute. I'm going to quickly take the filter off. So there, you can see there, close look on that, you can see that is quite bad. So I'm going to give that a blowout with an airline first. But what I would do is, without actually trying to vacuum anything up, put it back together like that without a filter on, and then try it. If you think, wow, that's really good suction, then there you know, you've sorted out your problem, you know it's the filter, buy a new one, clean that one, whatever you've got to do. If you put that on there without a filter on and try it, and you're still not getting very good suction, I would say there's probably something going on with your motor itself. The only other thing it can be is, I've already said about the exhaust side of it there, but if you clip it back on, and where that seal goes onto here, if that's not sealing properly, like that, you're getting a leak in through there. So that's why you're not getting as much suction through the main hole there. It'll be, you can see that's fixed on really well there. If it wasn't, if it was wobbling slightly, then depending on what vacuum cleaner you've got, there might be some sort of seal that's supposed to go on there to give it a good airtight seal. Moving on, a similar sort of thing with any sort of cylinder vacuum cleaner. Same again with this one, you can just pop the hose off there, try blowing through there. If you feel any restriction at all, it's your hose that's a problem. You can see this one's clear, so if this one is actually working okay, but if it wasn't, I would say check your hose. Right, okay, you've checked your hose and that's clear. If you're still not getting good suction, same again, try it through there. If your hose is clear, then you should still get good suction through there. Start stripping it down a little bit, cleaning, looking for the things that could go wrong with it. So again, excuse me 1 minute. So there you can see the bin lifts off, leaves you with a filter in there, and there is also a filter in there. Have a look at them. Yeah, see, that one looks really good and clear, not a problem with that one. Again, I have just serviced this one, so I know this one's working all right, but it's just a case of going through, making sure, say in there, that there's nothing blocking in there. Make sure that any seals, like that one, looks really good. Make sure everything is clipping back into place like it should, so that when it's clipped in, you can see that that's getting a good seal on there. Having a look at your bin side of things, sounds like there's a bit of rubbish in there. I would strip that down, clean it right out, put it back together again. Make sure on this one there are quite a lot of seals. Make sure they're all sitting properly, and when you're clipping things back together again, that they are seating. On these as well, where the hose goes into there, you can see that's all that's the suction is keeping that in. When you turn the vacuum pump, the suction sucks it into there. You can, by twisting that, it's like almost like a thread of a screw, make it push further up into that bit. So if that was sort of there all the time, sticking out a little bit, you're obviously not going to get a good seal there. Adjust it, like say either a screw, or you can just pull that through if you want, so that that always fits in a bit better up there. When you get your bin, it sits in there and it clips in, and then that holds it in place. Make sure everything looks like it's a nice tight fit. There's the seal there, there's a seal in there. Make sure all these are nice and tight. If you turn it on and the engine motor sounds like it's sucking all right, put your hand over the end and there's nothing coming out of there, go through the system step by step and you should find that it works. If not, again, I'm thinking it's going to be one of those seals. The motor itself, I suppose, could be on its way out, but you can usually tell if the motor's on its way out, it makes a strange noise to begin with. Onto the uprights. A bit more complicated, especially these Dysons that have the motor in the head there. But basically, if you've got it in an upright position and you've got good suction there, but then when you crank it over, you've suddenly got no suction at the bottom, there's a diverter valve inside here that changes it from being in an upright, it diverts the suction through, so you're getting it from the head. Like I say, it's very complicated, so work it step by step. There's little things like on these, that hose there can just be sticking out a little bit. So if you've got that off, obviously you're not going to get any suction through there. So make sure that is seated well into the place where it should be. If you've not got any suction in the hose or from the bottom, then stuff like these seals here. I'll just pop that off for you so you can see. You've got a seal on the bottom there. Have a look in there, make sure there's nothing blocking it. Have a look down there. That is actually just a really short little pipe, so you could put a piece of wire down there, make sure it comes out. Yeah, that's clear. Have a quick look down there. You can pop the head off on these. Have a quick look, make sure that the brush bar isn't clogged up. There isn't something blocking in there. Again, I'll quickly just show you that. So on this one, that red clip there just pulls off, and then the rest of it just pulls off, so you can have a good look inside there. You can have a good look inside there, and there is another pipe there. Sorry, there. That's the one I was showing you before. So you can have a look at that, make sure there's no splits in that hose from the bottom or from that end. It just clips into there. Check that. There's your other pipe, and that's the one that when you crack it open, it diverts it from, as you can see there, it's to the upright at the moment. Let's see if we can do it. there, goes back up to that one, or down to the bottom one there. In fact, you can see on that one there, just then, it didn't go down properly. So that is not actually going all the way down. So when you're cracking that one open to suction from the base, that wasn't actually going into place. It must just be something in the way, because it seems to be doing it now, all right. So yeah, start at the top, check your hose, check the diverter valve, check all the pipes are clear, there's no blockages. You can strip these down a bit more, but if it looks clear enough in there, and you've still got a problem, yeah, you're probably going to have to strip that down a bit more. Using an airline to blow things out, I always find is the best and easiest way to do it. If your brush bar is spinning and it's clear, yeah, that bit will be alright, but you can strip these down a little bit more. But yeah, you can see it's clear in there, that would be alright. That was basically just a demonstration that when you crack these over, that's when your brush bar starts spinning. You can also isolate it there. So if you're cracking it open and the suction's there but the brush bar isn't spinning, double check that somebody hasn't just pressed that, and that's why it's not spinning.